Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For anybody that's new here, what I do is update myself with YouTube crypto news, and I bring you guys along for the ride. So let's see who is here, and we will get into this. Mr. Andrew Masad, my man, appreciate you, buddy. Steven Cicero, good to see you. We have Dumpster Fire in the house. Kyle Rosa, Lawnmower Man, good to see you, buddy. Good morning. Happy Monday. Crypto Escort, Chris Hanley. Nick K, good to see you. Good to see you, the Pirate. DHJ, good morning, sir. Good morning. Let's see, Crosby in the house. All set, my man. Good morning. Good to see you, Mr. DJ Mines. Appreciate you, buddy. Backwards Miner. Scott Sheffield. Appreciate you all. Let's get into this. Market 48,091. Are we gonna see a $50,000 Bitcoin this week? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. I think Bitcoin's been doing fairly well. It actually made the highest weekly close, I think, in quite some time. Let's see, we have Ethereum 2492, BCH 278, if I could speak this morning. ETC looking like 25 bucks. We have XRP at 51 cents, Solana at 104. I think it was at 109 bucks at some point this weekend. Was it not? Am I wrong? Kaspa is at 13.8. We were over 14 cents this weekend as well. Crazy. Things are looking pretty good though, even though this market's red right now, or pinkish. It's pretty good. Looks pretty good. $70 Litecoin, IMX 2.89. We have $2.89. Not too bad. That looks like the highest earner over here. All right, let's check out Crypto Bubbles. DYM. Damn. Dimension. Looks like it's at $7.03. Looking like 76% up. This is on the week, actually. Biggest earner of the week. Kaspa 36% up on the week. We have Beam up 47% on the week. Pretty good. Pretty good. We have STX 28.3% at $1.91. XMR has taken quite the beating from being delisted on Binance. 27.1%. Crazy. Chlor is going to be a winner. IMO. Mr. Andrew Masad. Hopefully. We'll see, right? We'll see. Chlor's been killing it. Really? I haven't looked yet. Have not looked yet. Let's see. What's the biggest earner on the day? IMX looks like Immutable is at $2.90, 7.9%. That's on the day. We have Ton at 3.9% on the day, $2.20. Everything else is losing steam. It's all right. I think it'll be fine. All right, Fear and Greed Index. Sorry, flashbang. You guys know I don't really care about this till it's about over 75, but we're in the greed stage right now at a Fear and Greed of 70. Top 10 coins over here by coin market cap. Over on CoinGecko, we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, XRP, USDC, Lotto Staked, Ether, Cardano, and Avalanche. Looks like Dogecoin got knocked down another peg into 12th. Chainlink took 11th spot. Sad. It's a sad day. The meme coin is getting brought back to reality, unfortunately. We have 21st placed in Litecoin. It's $70 again. We have Shiba in 20th. Interesting. Those two jumped different pegs too. And Bitcoin Cash. What actually jumped up? What jumped up to push everything down? Was it wasn't Chainlink, was it? Chainlink was already higher than that stuff, wasn't it? Is it Toncoin maybe? Toncoin might have jumped up a couple ranks. Probably. All right, let's see. Let's scroll down a little bit. Ethereum Classic in 27th. We have Injective in 34th. If anybody's interested in that coin. Hedera in 40th. Where's Kaspa? Did I fly by it? I did. 32. Kaspa's in 32nd place. Nice. Everything looks great, guys. Everything looks actually fantastic. Let's check out Chlor, because you guys are saying Chlor is doing well. I don't have any Chlor, to be honest, because I can't mine it. Oh, wow. Look at that. Nice. 15.1%. DJ Mines. Hopefully you're still holding it. 15 cents. Almost 16 cents. Jeez. That's crazy. Let's check out the 7-day. Wow, it has been on a tear, huh? 10 cents or 11 cents up to about 16 now, and about 5 cents. Nice. Hell yeah. You know what, it sucks. I really wanted to buy some, but I'm hoping, you know what, I'm gonna email the unMineable guys. I was supposed to do it the other day. I want to see if I can get Chlor on there as well, because they just added let's go to unMineable quick. unMineable, let's see. They, oh god, sorry about the really bright screen, but they just added AI Power Grid to their site. And Neox, obviously you guys see my videos the last couple days. Neox is there, but AI Power Grid was or AIPG was the new one that they added. So I was kind of little bit shocked about that, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't. I hate they don't have a dark mode on this screen unless you click into a coin, right? If you click into a coin, then you can go dark mode. It's so stupid. But yeah. Oh, sorry for the flashbang. Anyways, all right, let's move on and see what we're looking like in the mining section of things. We have the IB Link BMKS Max 11 terahash unit on Kaspa making $86.97 a day. We have the WinMiner K9 10.3 terahash unit making $85.40 a day. The Ice River KS3, which we don't recommend buying right now until they figure out all their issues. Have all the issues subsided? Do you guys know? I don't have a KS3, so I can't tell you. I know there's been a lot of issues lately, though. I don't know if a lot of it's FUD. I don't know if there's only a couple machines that are down, but as far as I know, the hosting facilities have had hell of a time with these KS3s. That's just my my knowledge there. So pardon my ignorance. We have $64.80 a day on the KS3. The KS3M 6 terahash units making $46.20 a day. The KS2 looking like a mere $15.24 per day. The Jasminer X16P, looking at that, ETHW and ZIL, biggest earner there, $16.47 per day. Real quick, Chris Hanley in the chat says, worried the Kaspa pump is the new ASICS being burned in, then we'll see another dump. I don't know, maybe. I mean, you could be right. Who knows? I'm shocked, honestly. I still don't know. I haven't seen any videos on the K9, let alone the brand new IB Link right here. I have no idea. I haven't seen videos on either of these, so I don't know what's going on, to be honest. Let's see, the X16Q pulling in a, let's see, $5.58 a day on ETHW and ZIL. Looks like the biggest earner there. I have mine going to unMineable. As you guys know, we have the Ice River KS1 1 terahash unit making $7.62 a day. That's actually nice seeing that coming back up. That was under $5 if I'm not mistaken. That was pretty shitty. Let's see. Yarborough, is that how you say that? Dice Club said, I was watching your short about the Hivemapper. I want one. Where do you get it? I have a link down in the description below if you're interested. But Hivemapper, the website, they're delayed really far out. Let's see. Let's go to it. Let's see. Hivemapper. Buy a dash cam. Let me show you guys real quick. Just because we're talking about mining stuff, it's fine. Shop dash cams. Let's see. So, I mean, $300 is stupid cheap, right? But that's not the problem. The problem is the delivery time. Oh, I just added it to cart by accident. Damn it. This is the problem right here. Delivery time is, let me zoom in on this for you. August 2024. So you guys are gonna be waiting like 6 months at least to get these units. So $300 ain't so bad, but the 6 month wait time is pretty bad, right? I have no issues with this company. I have no doubt in my mind they will deliver. It's just you're gonna have to wait because there's such a high demand for them, and I'm shocked they haven't raised the price, to be honest. That's just my opinion. All right, let's move on here. We have the Bitmain S19K Pro 120 terahash unit making $3.25 a day. I was hoping that would be more, but I am actually getting my S19K Pro's control board swapped out because mine burnt out like within 2 weeks. Like, it just burnt out. So it's under warranty, but hopefully the Mining King will be getting on that at some point soon down to Terra Hosting. Shout out to those guys. Bitmain Antminer L7 9050. Looks like this thing is making $3.18 per day. Again, this is merge mining Litecoin and Doge, not just Litecoin, but I got this unit down to Terra Hosting going to Neoxa over on unMineable as well. The KS0 Pro looking like $1.58 per day. You know what? I'll take that. That's not bad. $1.58 a day per unit. I have 8 of these things right next to me, keeping my office warm, and it's going pretty well, actually. Yeah, they're all still on, which is nice. But so the reason, if you guys don't know, right? So let's see. Where's Kaspa? If I could spell today. Kaspa looking like 13 cents, right? Look at the last 7 days or so. It's had a pretty good rise, right? February 6th when I really started swapping all my stuff over to Neoxa. It was at 10 cents. Now it's at, 13, hit 14 yesterday. If we look at Neoxa, the reason I was swapping into Neoxa is because, let's go to the 7 day. It had a little pump yesterday, but 6 days, this February 6th, right when I started this about a week ago, it was stupid low and everything else was pumping, Lithium included. That's where all my GPUs are going, right? Lithium was pumping. I sold out at $2.60 or so, but it was pumping, and so was Kaspa, right? So the yield conversion there, I was getting a shit ton more Neoxa for mining these algorithms into unMineable, and it felt like a winning move for me. So that's what I did. Let's see where to buy Kaspa. Charles Fowle, if you actually are interested in getting Kaspa, go to well, what I did personally, I have a link in the description below for this as well. SimpleSwap, yeah, simpleswap.io. Actually, that's my video. Sweet, look at that. All right, so SimpleSwap, you can actually just swap any cryptocurrency for Kaspa, right? You can see right there. So you don't need like an exchange. You just literally, you don't have to like KYC, none of that shit. You just swap it into it, whatever you want. Send Bitcoin, you can send anything, USDT, USDC, whatever you want, and it'll just swap it out. I mean, it has like a minimum amount, right? You have to do a minimum of 23 bucks on USDC, it says. But this is how I got my Kaspa initially, because I don't have a website that I could just or rather a like go into an exchange, rather. That's what I was looking for, the word. God, words are hard this morning, Monday morning. This is brutal. All right, let's continue. Let's continue with the GPU mining stuff. Want to see what the biggest coin of the day is here. Looks like Lithium and Hypera have taken the top of the charts again for the 40 series cards. Looks like Xano is on the top for the AMD and the 3090s and 3080 Ti. Nice. Clore is actually on top for the 170HX. Nice, not too bad. Everything else is Hypera and Lithium pretty much. And then we get the lower cards, Clore and Xano. Nice, nice. So there you go. There are your options today. You guys are looking for something new to mine, get on it. All right, best weekly close since 2021. 5 things to know in Bitcoin this week. This is some Bitcoin news. Let's see, scroll that in, that look better. All right, Bitcoin starts a new week fighting from after its highest weekly close since December 2021. BTC's strength continues as key resistance comes into play near 50,000. Is there more upside to come? Bitcoin traders are focused on the odds after the 13% green weekly candle and halving just 2 months away. The halving's coming up super quick, actually. It really is. Did somebody just say that we only have like 10,000 blocks to go or something in the beginning of the stream? I feel like I saw something like that. Let me know if that's correct. Let's see. The event now acts like a magnet for sentiment, with various theories considering how high anticipation could take BTC/USD in advance. Less than, okay, 9k something, got you. Thank you very much, Mr. Lawnmower Man. So 9 something thousand blocks left till the halving. Crazy. There are plenty of hurdles on the way, however. This week sees a slew of macroeconomic data from the United States coming at a time when uncertainty over fiscal policy remains a key topic for both markets and analysts. The Federal Reserve will likely keenly watch the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, and the Producer Price Index, PPI, prints for January as markets cement expectations of interest rate cuts. In the background, meanwhile, the success story of the US spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund ETFs is getting observers excited. A steady institutional bid, they suggest, could provide a fuel required for new all-time highs in the coming months, which is inevitable. Let's just be real. Cointelegraph takes a look at these topics, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to read through this, but nonetheless, highest weekly close since 2021 is a big deal. All right, we're going to get into the markets now. This is more stock stuff right here, but this is some interesting stuff we can get into, right? The market will soon see its day of reckoning. I want to see what they have to say over here on Fox Business. Guys, appreciate you for hanging out. Hit that like button. Let's do it.
Welcome back. Take a look at futures this morning. We are looking at some selling pressure underway. Although the Nasdaq is higher, the Dow Industrials right now down 30 points. The Nasdaq's up 12. The S&P 500 flat, down about 1 point right now. But look at some of these movers. Snap is plunging today. It is down better than a third of its value right now after reporting a double miss on earnings and revenue. The company attributing the weakness to tensions in the Middle East. The company is also issuing weak guidance. The stock right now down 31.7%, sitting at $11.91 a share. We are awaiting more earnings today. We've got CVS Health, Uber, and Fox Corporation out this morning before the opening bell. After the close tonight, Disney will be the one to watch. That could set the tone for tomorrow. Joining me right now is the Fitzgerald Group Principal, Keith Fitzgerald. Keith, good to see you. Thanks so much.
So this was late last night, I assume.
For being here.
Thank you for having me.
What do you make of the earnings season so far?
I think it's been great. We've seen a lot of strength and a lot of the usual suspects moving to the front of the class. So I'm very enthusiastic. I think that the digital, the AI, all of those things are moving in the right direction.
Adam, what's most important to you? Jump in here.
Well, I love the fact that with earnings season now over half complete.
They just like leave that guy hanging. They're like, all right, thanks, enough out of you. Go to the next guy.
The average surprise to the upside has been 8%.
That's great.
And in fact,
That's a big number.
That's a big number, right? 8% ahead of the expectations. And the growth, Maria, has been 4%. So for all the naysayers who said, well, once again, we're going to struggle, actually, corporate America is putting up the numbers. And for someone like me who is fully invested and long and believing that we've got earnings, we've got employment, and we've got the economy all on our side. That's confirmation.
What about the job cuts? I mean, look, DocuSign is announcing it's going to cut 6% of its workforce as it looks to cut costs and improve financial efficiency. DocuSign, the very latest company, adding to the thousands of layoffs in tech this year as the sector resets for the AI boom. Keith, I mean, look, every day we hear another boatload of job cuts. So how does that fit into the macro story here that seems to be growing?
There's a very interesting wrinkle here that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. It's normal for companies to change their labor composition when you have a pivot, right? But the thing this one's interesting is the composition of that pivot. To paraphrase Warren Buffett, I think he said, you're going to find out who's been swimming naked when the tide goes out. There's a lot of excess weight at many of these tech companies, and how they refocus, I think, is more important than they are refocusing, if that makes sense. I
want to get your take on the banking sector because New York Community Bank is extending its losses. Now, lowest
She does talk ridiculously fast. Is it just me? Oh, my God.
Since 1997, after reporting poor fourth quarter numbers, commercial real estate exposure at the forefront, the dividend, all of this happening just in the last couple of weeks, as Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says she's now concerned about the looming property losses in commercial real estate. But she echoed Federal Reserve Chairman Jay Powell's comments that it's manageable. Don't forget, Jay Powell removed the paragraph from a statement last week that the banking sector is sound. Okay, he removes the whole statement. J.P. Morgan Chase announced it's planning to build 500 new bank branches in the next 3 years, despite 139 branches closing last month from rival banks. But look, with the J.P. Morgan story, you've got to realize that J.P. Morgan is building an enormous building in New York. It's almost finished. It's going to
enormous. You guys hear that accent?
To be its new headquarters. So it's got its stake in the ground in terms of commercial real estate. That's why it's telling all its traders, you better get back to work. No more, remote. I don't know that is actually emblematic of what's really happening today in commercial real estate. How do you see it?
Well, I got to tell you, the fact that Yellen thinks this is under control or she has things under control is terrifying, because this is the same group that missed the regional banking crisis in formation, that missed any number of a half a dozen other things that are roiling our financial system right now. So I'm going to throw that one right out. But Jamie Dimon is the one you want to focus on. We talk about the biggest and the best companies. He's the smartest guy on Wall Street. If he's building into real estate, it's because it makes sense for JPM, not because it makes sense for everybody else.
Well, we already heard from Howard Lutnick and Steven Schwarzman when I interviewed them both in Davos. Schwarzman, the CEO of the Blackstone Group, the largest owner of commercial real estate in the world, said, yeah, commercial real estate is okay, but office space is going to have a major problem. Howard Lutnick told me to expect $700 billion in defaults from this problem, office space. Keith, how is it possible that if you're getting $700 billion in defaults, it's not going to impact the broader banks and not going to take this market down?
Well, that's the question that I would ask Janet Yellen is, point blank, you got this value. I lived through the Japanese real estate crisis. I went through the Texas S&L crisis during the course of my career. I've seen this before. You can't have appraisals on assets that don't exist or exist at values that are completely fabricated. So there's going to be a day of reckoning. The bright spot for investors is you can pick your real estate carefully. A lot of people look at REITs for income. You can go to healthcare. You can go to tech. You can go to aging facilities. Those things are going to continue to pay, probably going to have very solid rent rows. Commercial real estate, not so much.
It's a great point that you make about some of those other businesses. Keith, thank you. Good to see you, sir.
Great point, Keith. Thanks very much. All right, let's move on. We have Bitcoin climbs above 47K for the first time since the spot ETF approvals. Let's see what Yahoo Finance over here is saying about Bitcoin. Let's do it.
Jared Blickry here with the trade. 2 days in a row that we're talking about Bitcoin here, Jared.
How about that? How special. We got Bitcoin heading to 50,000. Not there quite yet. Got a few thousand to go. Here is the 3-month.
Just for the record, I want this tablet. This thing's dope.
Chart. I've been showing this because Bitcoin, for the most part, since the beginning of December, has been locked in a trading range, even when it broke above here. And this was that sell the news spot Bitcoin ETF moment. It was very brief, lasted only a few days, similar to this breakdown, only lasted a few days. And here we are. What I like about this chart is that price seems very comfortable around this area that was swiftly rejected before. As we head higher here, as we approach 50,000, I'm going to want to see if that price level is accepted or if it's rejected. And if it's rejected, you get one of these big tails or wicks or shadows as the terminology goes.
This is a 3-year chart that he's looking at right here.
But why this level? That's because we have price memory here from way back in 2022. If we are able to clear 50,000, guess what? This puts 55,000 in sight. So one step at a time here. And I'd also like to take the opportunity to check out some of the flows that we've seen in some of these spot Bitcoin ETFs. Been really interesting. 10 overall. I have the top 5 in terms of volume, both to the upside and the downside. What really stands out here is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. That has lost over $6 billion in flows. It has by far the most assets. It was founded in 2013. It still has a management fee of 1.5%, but a lot of these flows have gone to competitors. IBIT, that's iShares offering, that has $3.5 billion worth of flows, and then Fidelity, pretty close on its heels there. So
look at that though. GBTC really did take quite the shit, and I think it's because they're getting really greedy with their percentage rates.
Have to see all of this shakes out, but really going all in, a lot of these issuers on these spot Bitcoin ETFs. I would mention that the iShares offering is one of the top 10 Bitcoin ETFs in terms of flows this year. That's substantial.
Jeez. Well, shout out to them. All right, let's move on to Mr. Crypto Zombie. Get into the videos of the day. I didn't have a chance to watch this thing, so let's see. Bitcoin emergency now. Last time this broke the internet. Let's see. FOMO Giga Alert. Is that Giga Chad comment thing? That dude with the big chin and the muscles. Thanks for you guys letting me know what that was like last week, because I had no idea. All right, let's get into this. Please smash the like button. Appreciate it.
So we had the demand shock. That was what I was saying. We had the demand shock. But the thing is, when you have a demand shock, price rises. And that's what we're seeing. But now we're about to have a supply shock. Guaranteed. It doesn't really matter what day it is. It's happening. But here's the problem. That's only 6 times current production if the miners actually sell. But a couple of the miners actually were buying. Not only were they not selling to pay their electric bills, they were actually in the market buying.
All the beginnings of his videos, he always does the most random shit.
What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful, awesome day today. Now, we have a lot to go over. Normally, I don't make this many frequent videos back to back, but I just saw something that absolutely blew my mind, and I have to share this with you right now. Before we get into that, I just want to kind of go over what's been happening in the market. So this is the parallel channel that we've been bouncing around in pretty much since back here, around 37,000. You can see, we bounce up and down. We did have a little bit, obviously, of a bear trap right here. Now, we had talked about the fact that we were looking at the heart line right here, and you could see that it usually tends to act as an area of interest, and you could see that we were saying there could have been a potential rejection there. We did not get the rejection. In fact, Bitcoin tried to push up to some of these higher levels. We had this wick back here that got up to around 48,000. Now we're still not above this.
So there's been like another candle since, you know, this video, if I'm not mistaken, either one or two, but yeah, we're still above this heart line he's talking about.
49,000 high, or you could even say maybe that psychological area of 50,000, right? And we do have to break out of this upwards channel, but the fact that we did have a daily retest so far on this heart line is definitely showing me that the bears are desperately, maybe not even desperately, maybe aggressively trying to take control, and it looks like it might be working, right?
Listen, I love K-Dub, but yeah, you're right. Much train. This is a grandpa shirt. He is wearing a retired grandfather that is going golfing in the morning. Hawaiian shirt. I think he might have robbed Vistang from his button downs, actually.
Other thing to point out is if you look at,
and I guarantee you he's wearing mandals underneath that with like really short brown shorts.
BlackRock's ETF. At first, obviously, it didn't do very well in the beginning. A lot of it had to do with potential price discovery, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. But as you can see right now, we're starting to curve up to the upside. And look at how these last three candles open. Look at these gaps in between them, right? Look at how that's just been going higher and higher. And we may be looking to even open higher come this week. We'll have to pull that up. But if you have a look at the stock market is hitting an all-time high. Now, yes, it's a little scary because, you know, we may be hitting the top of this channel, right? That is something to pay attention to. But what could be signaling that we have a bit of a risk-on environment is that we did have the Dixie getting rejected at this area pretty much right around 104.6 as we had marked out for multiple months on this channel, right? And obviously S&P specifically is, you know, related generally to more of those tech plays. So that is just a small piece to the puzzle. But the biggest question again is this time actually different? Because something could be happening right now, specifically to the 4-year model. And I'm going to tell you guys, the last time that we saw what is happening today, right now, we saw Bitcoin hit a new all-time high in just 17 days. And guess what? The price was hovering right around the area that we're hovering at right now. So is history about to play out? Is it different? Well, we have two things. We have a double threat right now, right? What do we have? We have the demand shock, and we also have the supply shock, right? The halving, all these narratives playing in, which could actually create something that could escalate much quicker than we had anticipated. Now, of course, as I said,
2 months till the halving, people. 2 months.
We have maintained an optimistically cautious approach, not bearish, just a little bit neutral. But if the bulls can maintain this structure, maintain this sort of momentum, which I'm going to talk about the momentum in a bit, it could be quite interesting. And it may actually signal, not trying to create FOMO, obviously, but time could be running out, or at least the time that we thought we had to accumulate at these levels could be shortened significantly. And yes, guys, I'm actually going to mention the fact that it may be time to start paying attention to the altcoins. So we're going to get into all that today. If that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, definitely consider it. Obviously, if you are trading over on Apex, guys, they are doing a...
I'm going to skip over this a little bit. Right about there.
On X. And I said, could it possibly be that this time is actually different? If I saw this chart right here, which I'm going to get into in a minute.
Sorry, I just like to skip over the shilling of exchanges, just because some of them, like most of us here in the US, can't do that, right? So,
and I had zero exposure to Bitcoin, I would be shaking in my boots right now. Get off zero. But before I get into that, there is one video that I want to play today, and that is from Mark Yusko. He was over on Blockworks Macro, and he was discussing the difference of this time and why, you know, it's a meme, right? This time is different. But when you look at what is in play right now, the typical fundamentals, the typical 4-year cycles, combined with what we have right now being the new demand, the new supply crunch, things could get a lot crazier, a lot faster than most are anticipating.
So we had the demand shock. That was what I was saying. We had the demand shock, right? We got the approval of these things, so the average person can now start buying. It's now a 1%, actually 1 to 3% allocation in the Fidelity broad portfolio. So they have a portfolio, they have an ETF that is all their other ETFs allocated based on their strategic view. And they have a 1 to 3% weighting and a 1% position in FBTC. Perfect. But the thing is, when you have a demand shock, price rises. And that's what we're seeing.
Facts.
But now we're about to have a supply shock. And that supply shock, guaranteed, whether it's 417, 418, you know, people are wishing it's 420. It doesn't really matter what day it is. It's happening. And we're going to go from 900 a day to 450 a day. And
that's a significant amount. 950 to 450, whatever, 475, whatever it is.
At the amount of inflows, okay, that's happening right now, we're buying 3 times the current production. That'll turn to 6 times the current production. But here's the problem. That's only 6 times current production if the miners actually sell. But a couple of the miners actually
also true.
Were buying. I mean, literally, they, not only were they not selling to pay their electric bills, they were actually in the market buying. Now, that can't happen forever, but that's just a speculative move, people adding to their treasury.
Good point.
Because they anticipate this move. And, you know, the other thing that doesn't get enough conversation is this idea of treasuries, right? You have MicroStrategy, clearly the biggest part of his treasury. You know, he's basically turned himself into a Bitcoin bank. But other companies have quietly added to, I mean, Morgan Creek has Bitcoin on our balance sheet. Now, we're not like Sailor, but we have it. And it's funny, we're doing year-end reviews, and my COO is like, you know, should we be rebalancing, taking some profits? I'm like, no, we suffered through the down. We're definitely not rebalancing here. In fact, I might take my profits this year and roll them in. So anyway, that's happening. Yeah. And we're not the only.
So this chart from CryptoCon, we did share 3 charts in the last video. This one is a little bit different. By the way, if you don't follow CryptoCon over on X, I recommend it. Great analysis. I really appreciate their contributions. But you can see right here in this chart, unlike the halving cycle theory, the alternate theory says there is a possibility that Bitcoin cycles are shifting left by 6 months. Okay, so before we continue, that means that they are getting, right? Not necessarily, I guess you could say shorter, not necessarily, but it seems like we are reaching these levels about 6 months earlier each time, right? So this would—
I would expect it to go further. That's strange, huh?
Call for a top around May of 2025, which generally speaking, we would normally see the top around something like November, December. But this could come sooner. As price nears yearly highs, more and more people are convinced that this time is different. Price, for now, continues to side with the original halving cycle theory, but we do have to look at the alternate theory that could suggest that new all-time highs are sooner than expected. According to this theory, new all-time highs would appear after May of 2024 instead of November of 2024. Now, I just want you to let that sink in.
After May this year? I don't know. That's crazy.
And this is what we're talking about here. We've never seen a new all-time high before the Bitcoin halving. And the Bitcoin halving is sometime in April, right? So maybe it's possible that we still don't see an all-time high before the halving, but we generally don't see one immediately after the halving either. And if we look at this cycle, it suggests that this would mark a monumental shift for Bitcoin, breaking firm cycles that have existed since it was created. Now, of course, until we see this price action, we have to just maybe assume that we're going to follow the same trajectory, but we do have to admit that this time is different. That's
that's very true. Also, the one who was, no one knows, everyone's just taking guesses, and that's very true, right? They just go off of charts and make shit up from what they think is going to happen, right? So, I mean, I take it with a grain of salt. I mean, it could definitely happen, but it could definitely not happen.
The theme of today's video, right? Because we have the ETFs, because we have the door open now to all of the boomers, the institutions, the family offices, the pension funds, all of the people that normally would be on the sideline that are not going to touch something like Coinbase or Gemini, right? They don't trust that, especially after seeing what happened with FTX. So this is what I wanted to talk about. Now, just break this down. And yes, we're going to do a little bit more TA than usual today. But look at this, guys, right here on October 3rd of 2021, okay? And this is, if I zoom out, you can see why I'm picking this area. This is the last time that Bitcoin was actually up around this area. I mean, I guess you could say right here, we did have a bit of a Right here, we did have a bit of a fake out. This was around March of 2022. And before I get into this, you could see why this area is of such significance, right? It acted as a lot of support here, slight resistance here, major resistance here, resistance again on the ETF news. And currently, this is exactly where we are today. But what exactly is the significance of this level? Well, check this out, guys. If we zoom in over here, the last time that Bitcoin crossed this level, now these candles, these are daily candles. Each one of these candles represents a day. From the time that Bitcoin broke above 48,000, the last time that we were there, October 3rd of 2021, it took Bitcoin only 17 days to basically pump 40% to the all-time high. So you could see how fast.
That's kind of interesting, actually. That is kind of interesting.
Fast
the way he's doing
this
that.
Rallied 17 days from the exact level that we're at today. It took Bitcoin to break the previous all-time high. And this pushed Bitcoin all the way up to around that $66,000 area. And then we consolidated. And if you want to go even farther, after that, it was about 38 days until we got to the absolute all-time high. So that's just over a month. So if we were to have historical price trends, not historical 4-year cycles play out the same way, that would assume, or that could suggest that we could see a new all-time high in 17 days, or if you want to go by this, the absolute high in about 40 days from now. Now, I think that we would still go a lot higher than this. So if you have a look, what a lot of people, including myself, we had spoke about this. I know Kevin Svensson, he's been talking about it a lot as well. But you could see that once we had this sort of cluster down here where we had this multiple support area, Bitcoin never came down to any of these previous levels, right? We had this long-term trend right here, and then we have this trend as well, and then the new blue trend that set in after that bottom. Well, Bitcoin hasn't even come close to touching. We had this attempt down here where we had this crash, we had the bump and run, and then Bitcoin started putting in a bit of a parabolic curve. Now, do I think that this parabolic curve is going to maintain? That I don't know, because this is a little excessive, a little bit early. You know, even if we did break down something like this, you know, and people would say, well, that, you know, you can't really move it, but you could always move, you know, you can move the parabolic curve, obviously. But my point that I'm trying to make is that it could accelerate a lot quicker, because this is something that I don't usually speak about on the channel. But if we have a look at the Lux Algo matrix oscillator, okay? A little bit of a complex thing, but I'll break it down for you right here. Ultimately,
you know that meme where it says simple math? That's what I'm getting right now with this.
This is very similar waves, the same way, you know, if you're using Market Cipher, you're looking at money flow. It's kind of a combination of RSI and all that, as well as showing these shifts right here. Now, what you can see if you zoom in, you are seeing this shift moving way to the upside. Now, yes, although we did get one of these little blue X's, which could suggest that maybe we've reached a temporary peak, but you could see even right here when we got this X back in April 3rd, yes, price declined a little bit, right? We went down, it was about 20%. But that was only over the course of about 8 weeks. And then we're setting up that base. But usually when you have these trends move into the blue, they tend to stay there for a long time. And if we have a look at this structure change right here, what this is suggesting, and you can check the data, it's right over in the bottom. This is suggesting that the strength of this trend is around, they say, 81.9%. So that's saying that there's an 81.9% based on history that this trend will remain. And the trend, which is currently in the blue right now, is suggesting continuation to the upside. Now, keep in mind, again, this trend, we started the blue, we did go sideways, right? We went sideways for several weeks here, but we ended up ultimately putting in a higher high. So if you're looking at these different theories and you're considering the fundamentals and you're considering that there's about, let's just say, an 82% chance that this trend is going to continue to the upside, and we have seen the cycles moving about 6 months in advance each time that we have it, plus we have the potential supply and demand shocks, it is one of those situations in which you may want to consider getting off zero, right? And that's exactly what I said back here in the original tweet. You know, I said, you know, obviously if you saw this chart and had zero exposure, you know, I'd be shaking in my boots right now. And that's exactly why I said that, because, you know, it's one thing to be optimistically cautious, which is what we are right now, but it's another thing to just completely be sitting on the sideline. And
real quick question. Does anybody here in the chat not own any Bitcoin? I don't know. You know, I'm going to put a poll up because I don't want you guys to have to like say that. But like, let me put a poll up real quick.
Assuming that we have to go back down to these $30,000, $35,000 levels just because we've seen it happen before. I'm not going to rule that out because technically, if we come into the chart right here, this is a beautiful, beautiful weekly candle. And this definitely puts it in the bulls territory, especially breaking out of this consolidation range that we've been in for quite a long time. But again, obviously, if you just want to make it nice and simple, you know, we have this top right here. We have this wick top. And that means that Bitcoin still has to get above that $49,000 area because that also represented the 0.618 Fibonacci. You know, and as we had talked about in previous cycles, this is why we said, you know, just be careful, you know, at those levels. And we did have that pullback is because each time.
So real quick, I had to cut him off. He's talking like a mile a minute. My head's spinning. But listen, X Gamer has a good point, right? He says, sorry, X Game Rider, I think that's what it says. No Bitcoin, better gains elsewhere. And you know what? That's a very good point. That's a very good point. So with Bitcoin, you're probably not going to get rich anymore, right? I mean, yes, you could 2x, 3x your money. Yes. Okay. But let's be real. Altcoins are where the real gains are going to be. It depends which ones you're going to get into, but you know, they're super speculative. So you got to be careful, right? Bitcoin's more of a store of value. If you have a savings account, probably better off putting it in Bitcoin versus holding it in your savings account. Again, that's not financial advice. It's just kind of the truth and how things have been going over the past, like, however many years, right? Bitcoin just continuously went up, and the interest rates and all, I mean, not interest rates, dividends on like your, you know, savings account have been just going down progressively. Like, what do you guys even get? Like literal shit for like leaving money in a savings account, right? Like, you don't get anything. So, I mean, it makes more sense to hold it in Bitcoin if you're going to hold money. But if you're looking to make gains, altcoins, yeah, it's like a 50-50 shot though. You know, that's kind of the scary part.
Time we've sort of come up to that level, you know, we have had those pullbacks, right? Every time we get up to that level, you know, we have had those pullbacks. Here, even zooming in, you know, we got to the level, we had a little pullback, so it's been 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th week, it was a pump. So yeah, I mean, we did have technically a month of that price movement, but if we do break and hold above that, which is currently, according to this chart, it's sitting at around $47,600, then you may be looking for that parabolic advance, and it could be possible that this time is in fact actually different, right? The thing is if we look at the weekly, we didn't even come down into this band of the EMA ribbon, and obviously, you know, going a little bit lower on the daily, we did dip below it, but one of the strongest supports, as you could see, if I go back far enough, well, you got to get out of a bear trend here, you got to get into a bull trend, tends to be this purple 89. It's like this lavender move right here. But you can see once you start getting into these higher, more sort of, I guess, extreme price moves, you don't even get down that low. So, you know, having a look right here, if we have to go off of that level.
And you know, real quick, Lawnmower Man made a good point. He said, treat Bitcoin like a 401k, set it and forget it. And that is a very good way to look at it. That is actually what I do. Like, I'm not going to buy and sell Bitcoin to trade unless, like, if I was like a crazy trader and knew all these charts and yada yada, and I could call the swings, which like 90% of people can't do, it's you know, then yeah, I would do that, but I can't do that. So I just, you know, I'm gonna set it and forget it. Bitcoin is long-term holdings, and that's it. Altcoins, yeah, get in, get out, because they can be risky, right, and super volatile. So that's that.
That level is sitting at around 43,700. So that would suggest that at this point on the daily, you're probably not going to see Bitcoin go much lower than that. And on the weekly, of course, the larger time frames show us that maybe you may get a retest at around that $39,000 area. But, you know, sitting and waiting for that confirmation, I just can't necessarily suggest that that would be the best play, not financial advice, because if this thing does start moving, what would you do? If in 17 days from now or 20 days from now, Bitcoin was back above 70,000. Not
FOMO is real. Like, we watched something, what was it, it was Saturday or Friday, I can't remember, but somebody was saying something about like, man, I forget what the term was. It wasn't FOMO. It was a different term they used. And it was about like, you know, when people see the price start going up, it's exactly, they get that feeling, you know, you get the FOMO feeling like, oh shit, this thing's actually moving. Maybe it's a good idea now. They get in, and then guess what? Then they get wrecked because it pulls back, because that's stupid money. People don't know what they're doing.
Crazy. It's happened. It happened before, right? So that's just something I wanted to bring up to you guys. You know, also just speaking fundamentally at not only the development, but you have MicroStrategy even coming out and announcing plans to be the world's first Bitcoin development company.
Well, as you can see, and as we've said, we view ourselves as a Bitcoin development company. And what does that mean? Well, that means we're going to do everything we can to grow the Bitcoin network. We're going to do everything we can to acquire more Bitcoin, and we're going to do everything we can to benefit our shareholders and do this in an accretive fashion. And when we consider our options and our unique strengths, we boil it down to four. First of all, our company structure.
Real quick, anybody that might be new here in the chat, Michael Saylor, awesome guy, right? Huge advocate of Bitcoin. They hold a shit ton of MicroStrategies, the company that he is like, you know, a part of. Please be careful. I saw a freaking scam this morning as I was looking through news stuff. These guys will hack a YouTube channel, change the name to MicroStrategy. They will take an AI like twisted Michael Saylor video and throw it on there saying in the chat that they will double your BTC if you send it and blah blah blah. Please don't fall for that shit, okay? If you see the comments on the live chat off and you have to be like subscribed for 25 years or some shit, that's a scam. Please be careful. Anything says that I will 2x your Bitcoin, that's a scam. Please be careful, okay? Anything you see with this guy, just make sure it's not a scam before you guys like are even engaging in it.
We are unique as an operating company. And that means we have active control over our capital structure. And we can do things operating companies can do that trust companies like, say, spot Bitcoin ETPs, they can't do. And that's a wide range of things. One of those things is we can develop software. And of course, we'll continue to develop business intelligence software. There's extraordinary opportunities to blend artificial intelligence with our traditional business intelligence customer base. It's great value. And we will also continue to pursue Bitcoin development opportunities. So develop applications that create value from the Bitcoin network, either working on the base layer or working with L2 protocols like the Lightning protocol in order to do this. And we're very enthusiastic about that. And as we develop this software, we will release it either to the benefit of the Bitcoin network, or we'll release it to generate more revenue and work to generate more cash flow so that we can buy more Bitcoin.
And I know we generally don't speak about a lot of altcoins on this channel. In fact, I don't think I've really spoken about many altcoins in the past year, because the year of 2023 for me, that was the year of Bitcoin. It was the year of loading up on Bitcoin, getting ready for the ETFs, getting ready for the institutions, trying to get to that one Bitcoin. I mean, don't forget, there was a time last year in which you could have got one Bitcoin for $16,000, $17,000, even a couple exchanges, $15,500, right? Now, of course, who buys the absolute bottom? Nobody generally buys the absolute bottom, but it was an excellent opportunity to start accumulating that Bitcoin position, which I still firmly believe, my personal opinion, should be the majority holding of your portfolio. How much? That's up to you. I don't know. Some people 90, some people 70, whatever, but I definitely wouldn't hold more than half not Bitcoin. I would at least have 51% Bitcoin, because that is going to definitely be that longevity play, right? So you have wealth generation, which is making those quick money. But what happens with a lot of these, these people that win the lotto, right? They know how to generate the wealth, or they get lucky, whatever, but they get all this money and then they end up broke anyway. It's because they don't understand that wealth preservation. Bitcoin is like the crypto bank, right? Bitcoin is like wealth preservation. That's where you kind of hold your money for long-term set and forget it. But what we are seeing over here on the total crypto cap, excluding Bitcoin, is on this Gaussian channel. Let me see if I can get it. There we go. So you can see it a little bit better here. Well, we only have so much data going back to here. But ultimately, once we flip out of these red zones, which are the ultimate accumulation area, and you get that confirmation tap on the Gaussian channel, we tend to stay above it for quite a long time. And keep in mind, this is altcoins, not...
But also, look at this, though. Look at how high it went here and then how low it is here. I wonder how much shorter it's going to be here.
Bitcoin. You can see the same thing right here. Well, what do you guys think we're doing right now? We're breaking out of that channel and we're starting the very, very, very beginning of the green. So again, a lot of people with altcoins, some of the...
That was strange. You didn't really talk about how much shorter it was, though.
Comments I get in the channel is like, well, why are you waiting until the altcoins have moved out of the channel into the green to start accumulating? Why didn't you start buying earlier? Guys, at the end of the day, stop trying to time bottoms and tops. It's a ridiculous game to
Facts.
play like that. If you miss the first 20 to 30%, who cares? You can get the next 70 to 90%, right? And within those percent,
that's like the biggest thing. People dwelling on the past. That's like the easiest way to just wreck yourself. Like, you're just going to sit there and fight yourself 24/7 if you're always dwelling on the past. Like, oh, I could have done this. I should have done that. Like, who gives a shit? You didn't do it. It's over. Move on.
percentages, you can get 10x's. I've seen 1,000x's happen, right? And I believe right now would be that opportunity if you are looking into altcoins that you believe in. You're not just being speculative, you believe in them and you could hold them, for at least the next 6 to 8 months. Then I think that now is a good opportunity to accumulate one project.
All right, I'm gonna stop him there. So yeah, accumulation right now is a good thing for just altcoins and Bitcoin as a whole. I mean, just be careful. Obviously, projects, you can always get rugged, so just you got to do your research and shit. All right, I do want to hear this. I know you guys aren't a huge fan of Shillcoin Daily, but I appreciate their videos. How many Ethereum to be a millionaire? Let's see what he has to say here. I just want to see what they're saying about where Ethereum's going to go, more or less. Not really how much you actually need to hold. So, guys, that like button, appreciate you all. Let's try to get 100 likes. I don't want to see Max's cleavage. Let's do it.
Ethereum has a habit throughout, a bull market of having these, kind of crazy catalyst weeks where, it can go 5, 10, 15, 20% up in a week. And then the question is, can Ethereum do what the Ethereum community has been predicting for a very long time, either next year or the following year in the cycle, which is flip Bitcoin? Because that would be the real catalyst. If Ethereum is able to flip Bitcoin, which requires a 4 or 5x price appreciation relative to Bitcoin, that would extremely catalyze, I think, the next couple of years of activity.
Wait, Ethereum flip Bitcoin? They think that's going to happen? Do people actually think it's going to happen? Do you guys think it's going to happen in the chat? Let me know.
And shift the narrative.
Max, thanks for being here, buddy.
Is the #2 cryptocurrency. Many people say it could be #1. Ethereum is for sure the future of finance. Ethereum for sure will make a lot of millionaires. The only question is, will you be a future crypto millionaire? You need to have an Ethereum strategy if you want to do well in crypto. I'm average.
Listen, real quick. I just want to elaborate a little on the are you going to be a crypto millionaire? You don't have to be a millionaire, right? The whole point of us getting into crypto, or I mean, at least myself, is financial freedom, right? You don't need to be a millionaire to be financially free and pay off all your bills. Okay, so if it, however much makes sense to you to earn, right? Just have a goal, have a plan, set it in place, and then when that time comes, take it out. You don't have to go to $1 million. Okay, you don't have to be like everybody else. I understand. As long as you guys have your goals met, then you should be happy and you did a good thing.
4.38% staking my Ethereum. Seems like this could really add up, especially if Ethereum price keeps grinding higher. Watch this whole video. Let's talk about Ethereum's current value proposition, a realistic Ethereum price prediction, and let's answer the question, how many Ethereum do you need to be a millionaire? Smash
Broski's only wants to win. He only wants to be $20 richer. Perfect.
the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's jump into it. So
yes, he DJ. That's a reasonable request, right? He said, I'll stop when I get my lion fountain. He just wants a lion fountain in his front yard. It's fine. You can live in a 1,200 square foot house. Just have a lion fountain in the grass. Perfect. Then your goals are met. See, you're happy.
JP Morgan has been wrong about a lot of things.
I've been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, etc. You pointed out the only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance.
Shit, Gary.
That is a use case. If I was the government, I'd close it down.
I do think that they are right on this. JP Morgan says Ethereum is likely to outperform Bitcoin this year.
You guys think that's true? Think that's true? And he's just hating on Bitcoin because he wants to buy more. And you know what? He probably bought Ethereum or a shit ton of Ethereum because it was way cheaper than Bitcoin. And that's why he's saying it.
You study the cryptocurrency market and you follow the crypto market every day, like I do, Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin is a pretty safe assumption, in my opinion. The question is, do you think Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin again? The way I see it is this. Ethereum historically outperforms Bitcoin in every bull market. Ethereum this year, compared to past cycles, Ethereum as an ecosystem, Ethereum as a global asset, is in a different league. It's in a league of its own, plus an order of magnitude better than previous cycles.
So don't they have something that's fixing the gas fees, right? Dank sharding or something? Is that what they called it? I forget, to be honest. But they're supposed to be fixing the gas fees, so that's like a huge plus for Ethereum. The only real downside, in my opinion, well, two downsides, right? Vitalik has the burn keys, the keys to the burn wallets or whatever they're burning, right? The Ethereum they're burning. And two, they could just print more. So like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, right? Like I have high hopes for Ethereum to go far, but at some point it's going to turn into, hey, we need to print more. That would be my thoughts. I don't know.
Regulatory clarity with a spot Ethereum ETF on the horizon. So I want to be accurate with this ETH price prediction. I'm bullish, but I want to be accurate. And to have an informed thesis on Ethereum's price, we need to have an informed thesis on Bitcoin's price. I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going to go a lot higher in the future. Expert analyst Tom Lee of Fundstrat gives his opinion here. And to be honest with you guys, I think this is accurate. I think this is for sure possible and probably even accurate. And if you don't think that something like this is possible, I don't know what to say to you. I guess comment and tell me why. In my opinion, Bitcoin will do something like this, and then we'll use this and talk about Ethereum.
Next 12 months, something over 100,000, maybe 150,000. And, in the next 5 years, again, there's a finite supply, and now we have a potentially huge increase in demand with a spot Bitcoin approval. So I think in 5 years, something around 500,000 would be potentially achievable.
Okay, let's talk about my Ethereum price prediction. Let's talk about...
By the way, that was what Tom Lee, isn't that his name? He is like on point with stocks usually.
Why this is so true. And my thesis has a lot to do with where Ethereum is from a development level and institutions buying into Ethereum. This is the CEO of Synthetics, an Ethereum-based protocol. He's actively building and highly engaged with the future of Ethereum. His opinion is well-informed. Here he lays out the value prop of Ethereum today.
I feel like this dude's earphone's going to fall out.
You'll hear my Ethereum price prediction right after this clip.
If we look ahead, JP Morgan recently put out a report that said Ethereum would outperform Bitcoin thanks to proposed upgrades to reduce transaction costs and boost speeds. Do you agree with that sentiment that the upgrades that are coming are going to be such a boon for the Ethereum network, even with hype around spot Bitcoin ETFs here in the US or the halving that may drive interest in Bitcoin?
I think the interesting thing this cycle is that Ethereum has now been the #2 asset for, other than like a brief blip where Ripple passed it for a few months in 2018, 2019, about 7 years. It's been the #2 crypto asset, right? And for good reason. It has dominated transaction activity. It's dominated the narratives from NFTs to decentralized finance. And we now are sort of in this position where as Bitcoin, as it typically does at the start of a cycle, as the Bitcoin dominance cycle starts to grow, what would typically happen is those Bitcoin profits would be rotated out into alternative assets, right? Longer tail assets, and Ethereum was typically one of those. But it feels to me like Ethereum is now in a position where it has become so dominant that people are actually skipping over Ethereum and going to things like Solana and even layer 2 scaling solutions and longer tail assets, more speculative assets. And so I think Ethereum is kind of a victim of its own success in that regard a little bit, because it has been so dominant for so long and people don't see the upside in it. That said, Ethereum has a habit throughout a bull market of having these kind of crazy catalyst weeks where it can go 5, 10, 15, 20% up in a week. And I do think we'll see that in 2024. But what the catalyst will be, we don't necessarily know ahead of time.
Something that you just said goes right into my last question, which was, what do you see for institutional adoption of Ethereum? Institutions seem to be getting more and more interested in crypto once again for things like tokenization of real world assets. And so what's Ethereum's role in that going forward? And can it capture that attention versus some of its competitors?
I think it will. And again, I think this is what's going to happen in terms of this slow grind up, or, this slow growth for Ethereum. There is no major catalyst. It's just going to be constant adoption. It is by far the dominant platform. And, it's the dominant platform for a reason. It has the best tech. It has the best, engineers. It has, the widest adoption. And so I think that as an institution looking to do things with smart contracts, Ethereum is the obvious choice. It's becoming a little bit like, the old IBM trope of, no one ever got fired for choosing IBM. Right? And so choosing Ethereum becomes just the obvious default choice. That said, I think Solana and potentially some of the other chains will have a chance to challenge Ethereum. But for now, it's really going to be, I think, Ethereum's game to lose. And then the question is, can Ethereum do what the Ethereum community has been predicting for a very long time, either next year or the following year in the cycle, which is flip Bitcoin? Because that would be the real catalyst. If Ethereum is able to flip Bitcoin, which requires a 4 or 5x price appreciation relative to Bitcoin, that would extremely catalyze, I think, the next couple of years of activity and shift the narrative. But it's, again, that's for Ethereum to kind of pull off.
Ethereum hitting $10,000.
Yeah, the only thing that they really do need to change, like the fees need to be fixed. That's the problem with
I
Ethereum.
think is very realistic. Yes, it's a round number. No, I'm not trying to predict an exact down to the decimal exact price. It's more directional. It's more big picture. This is more, let's be conservative, actually, to ensure that millionaire status can be achieved. Again, I think Ethereum can hit $10,000 this cycle if Bitcoin really performs well. I'm going
to be honest, I think the same. I think it could get close to 5 figures for sure.
Ethereum can do a lot more in future cycles. There will be so many crypto holders who argue with me on this.
But the problem, though, is like once it gets to that point, how much are you paying in fees to get it out? Do you know what I mean? Like you're going to be screwed. 5-figure ETH? You'd be paying like $1,000 in fees.
I look forward to reading your comments. Consider this. 10K Ethereum might sound too bullish right now, but at a certain point in the not too distant future, 10K Ethereum might sound too conservative. And then after this cycle, in a few cycles from now, I think a $20,000 Ethereum is possible. So 10K Ethereum is an easy 4x from here. You'd need to accumulate 100 Ethereum coins to hit millionaire status. 20K Ethereum is an easy 8x from here. You'd need to only accumulate 50 Ethereum coins to hit millionaire status.
But it not being a fixed supply, I don't know. That's really high.
Let's talk about these two numbers. If you stake your 100 Ethereum, you would make an extra 4 to 5 Ethereum on top of this every year.
Yeah, DJ Mods in the chat said 10K ETH isn't impressive. IMO all-time high was 4,400, 2x plus. Yeah, it's really not that. It's not that much. But at the end of the day, like the unlimited supply throws me off with it, right? And then like going to like 20, right? 10K I think is possible. But then I don't know, like the market cap, I guess we could just see how high it gets, but I don't know.
Here, if you stake your 50 Ethereum, you'd make an extra 2 to 2.5 Ethereum on top of this every year. So
I mean, once the spot spot Ethereum ETFs happen, then yeah, dude, total possibility.
You need 95 Ethereum to become a millionaire if Ethereum only hits $10,000 in the next couple years if you stake. My bull case, you only need 45 Ethereum to become a millionaire if Ethereum hits 20K in the next several years if you stake. Let's check back on this video over the next year or so. Follow for more videos just like this.
It's always interesting to see.
To be realistic.
Always interesting to see where things actually end up going. All right, let's recap things just a little bit. Appreciate Mr. Austin over at Altcoin Daily for that. Looks like Bitcoin is rising. 48,120. Nice. Look at that. Hell yeah. All right, let's check out this poll. So I put a poll in the chat, as you guys know. Do you hold any Bitcoin? 78% of you said yes. 22% of you said no. Now, I wonder why. I wonder why you don't hold any Bitcoin. I know the gains are probably going to be higher, but do you think that there will be enough Bitcoin to go around? And do you think that Bitcoin will ever get to a point where it's it could make generational wealth for your kids or your kids' kids? You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at with Bitcoin. So it's like, do I take some and put it in separate wallets and give them to my kids as like a retirement fund type deal for them? Because who knows, man? Bitcoin could go absolutely insane. Polls numbers thought it would be more. Really? Really? You thought like more with Bitcoin or more without Bitcoin? Mr. Lawnmower Man. Let's see. Dan R. If you stake the same amount of Solana rather than ETH, you'd make much more. You know what? That's probably true. That's probably true. I never staked any of either Solana or ETH, so I don't know. To be honest, I just hold my Ethereum that I mined from years ago in my ledger, and I haven't touched it. It's probably been there for like 4 years. Anyways, all right, let's see. I'm 69. Yo, too late for me to have Bitcoin generational wealth. Yeah, Tim, I am crypto. Well, it's a year to party, that's for sure. Well, you know what though? Honestly, I mean, if you don't have kids, then I get it. F it, man. Can't take it with you. You know what I mean? Enjoy it. Enjoy it while you got it. Poll, how much was BTC? Poll, how much BTC people have? No, Elliot, I don't like to do that. Well, I have done that. I can do that. It's just, it's too late in the game right now. I actually got to get out of here in a second, but we can do that tomorrow. I can see what people hold, right? If you're a whole coiner or not. I don't recommend you telling people personally in the chat how much you have or how much you don't have, but you know, speculating or having like a rough number where you can put your answer in a poll, it doesn't tell people who you are. That's totally fine with me. Again, just to recap this, fear and greed index looking like 70 over here. Let's check out lithium's doing okay today. 234, it's down a little bit. I wonder if we're gonna have a bigger pullback. Let's see what's trending over here real quick before we get out of here. Jupiter, look at everything that's trending is down. Jupiter's down a bit, 47 cents. I don't know what this is. Unilend finance, don't know what this is. Then Heroes of Avia, what the hell is that? What is this? It's ranked 249. Weird. I don't know what this is, to be honest. February 5th came on CoinGecko, had a decent run up, $4, $5. Huh, weird, very weird. All right guys, that's gonna do it. Hit the like button, please. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. That was the wrong button. Hit the like button, please. I appreciate you all for hanging out with me on the daily grind. I will be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unfortunately, the wife had to go to work early, so I gotta get the hell out of here. You guys have a good day. We're gonna bump over to Miss Randy Hipper's stream. She'll be going live in about a half hour, so hit that like button over there as well. If you guys can't stay, at least show some love, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Have a good day, guys.
You guys don't get to 100 likes. I'm going to show you my cleavage.
Max, I told you, please don't. Please don't. Unless they don't get there. Okay, bye.
Eat shit, Gary.